So, Adela, thank you so much for being with us and kind of sharing a little bit about your journey and your family's journey. So, you weren't necessarily a client, but your son's been a client of mine for the past year. He was one of my first clients. Like once I kind of branched out and started doing more of my own personal business. So I just wanted you first to kind of tell us a little bit about him first.
Wow. Well, Benjamin is very much a happy little boy, and he has the speech delay, and it's never stopped him from talking to people or getting people's attention. And I won't go too much into it because I don't want to get emotional when I talk about him. But yeah, he just kind of goes with the punches and he does his best. He gets a little frustrated sometimes. And he redirects his that frustration into, okay, let me get this done. So he's very much a very tenacious and hardworking little boy.
Yeah, he is. There's like never a dull moment. He's funny. He keeps me on my toes. I'm like, okay, what can I do next with him? But that brings me to too, like kind of I like to do little games with the kids and kind of keep it fun for them
Yeah.
and keep them interacted as well because sometimes kids do need to be like standing on something or standing on one foot, like getting their brain integrated in another way too, busy so they can like be paying attention as well.
And
Also, right?
he loves when he sees Miss Kelsey.
So, so speech, when did you guys kind of start noticing a challenge with speech?
It was right around maybe 10 months where we noticed, like, he wasn't saying, I guess, words or pronouncing words like he should. Because yeah, I want to say it was right after, yeah, I think it was around that time. So between 10 months to maybe uh, a year and a half is when we kind of really were starting to have those conversations with the doctor. We were tracking, we were watching. Um, the world shut down, and so we didn't know if it was that because he wasn't around a lot of people or if it was something else. So it was a very interesting time. But we were grateful that we had a great doctor, a pediatrician. We had the support, and the the one thing, kind of looking back at that, is just preventative, being what, just making sure you can do everything you can to be preventative, at any type of, perceived issue.
Mhm. And you guys did so great with that. Yeah, it's like when everything's shutting down, like what can you do and everything. And I think like that being said, we did a little bit of like we've done some of our myofunctional therapy in person, but we've also done some online too. Like we started out doing it online. We did our consultation online and he did pretty well. I think he was like maybe barely 5
Yeah.
when we started doing it, but he did pretty well. So some good things that can come, right?
Yeah, him being on a Zoom or FaceTime, he's very comfortable with it, and we could attribute it to that time because we had to learn and we had to adapt to that's the way we were, connecting at that time.
Definitely. And so when did you guys kind of start to seek specialists or get a speech therapist involved?
So yeah, it was right after, like you said. So we did the speech therapy route, had a great therapist where we were at, and we just continued that until he reached 3. And then we did the speech therapy along with the school district. They had their, it's similar to what is here, the Child Find program. So he went into one of those speech centers also at 3. And he's progressing as he should. But it always felt like there was just something that was preventing him to get over those plateaus. He would get to a plateau and just kind of just stay there, and it's like, okay, so what else is it, or what else can we do to help assist him to get over that? to make that next leap. So yeah, I mean, we started, that's the first thing they say about, if it's to check to see if you have like the tongue tie or so we went to different specialists. And so that's how do we ended up where we are now.
Okay, okay. Yeah. And so did someone diagnose him that he did have a tongue tie? Was there a specialist
You
that
know, and this is, I guess, why it's important to make sure you do connect with somebody who does have that, extra training, because at first they said he didn't, or that it was very minor. But then we met with somebody else and they said, well, no, it's not there. But then when we met with somebody else, they said, no, there is something there. So it was very confusing, little frustrating, but we were able to meet with one that was like, no, there is a slight a tie there. And so she gave us different options. We can do the surgery route right away, but before that, she did say, about the exercising and learning about that. So went through all the researching, stayed up late to see what I could find and how I could, if we didn't want to do surgery right away, was there anything else that could help him get what he needs to be able to exercise, to get the motor movement going, if that was what we were looking at. So that's how we kind of found you. It
okay.
was Google.
Okay. I know I like wasn't quite sure. Okay, so that's kind of just like digging down into the rabbit hole and everything, and then reached out and found out that I was local.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
And
And
very what was very interesting to find out is that you're one of, I mean, it's not a huge, nobody goes into this and then there's not a ton of therapists available. And it's, looking at it now, it's like, man, I wish everybody knew about how amazing this is. And because, so yeah.
thank you. No, that's the kind of the goals of this, and then like you sharing kind of your experience and your journey. So you didn't know, I'm guessing you didn't really know what myofunctional therapy was, so you were just kind of like, what is this? Let me try it and see.
Yep. Yep. When it came up as, another type of therapy to complement the speech therapy, that's when I found the myofunctional. And I always get it, I always have to remind myself how to say that, so I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Myofunctional therapy. It was really interesting to see how that whole body connection, and that's what really really took my interest. It's like looking at it at a different way. And with the story with how Ben arrived here, it was a whole, like, I had issues, and it was not until I kind of looked at the whole body and kind of helped me, bring him here. So I already knew that looking at a different perspective on how to help or how to complement what you're already doing, it really does make a difference. And when we started, the pictures from then and now, it really is just amazing to see how, just exercising that therapy, right? How it can impact, and the movements are small, and the impact is huge. So I mean, it's breathtaking to really see where he is, where he started and where he is now. And when they ask me, well, what is he doing, I know the myofunctional therapy just gave him that extra, to get him where he is now. I don't know how long it would have taken if we didn't implement that into his program, but I know now that it's something that is going to help him not only now but then in the future. Because that was really another interesting piece. You share so much information with us, and to see that difference, it really is amazing, and I'm so grateful.
Thank you. Yes. And so a little bit now, did you guys do some physical therapy with him even like before, or did he, like, talking about the full body connection, like I think he had like a helmet for a little bit too, right?
So again, like I said, the doctor we had, it was in Dallas. Um, he was amazing at, okay, let's look at everything and let's see if we can do things to prevent, getting to that next step. If we need to get to that next step, that's totally fine, but let's see if we can try something. And we were all for it at that point. And so yeah, he did have a and I know there's a technical term, but it was
Yeah,
a
right.
flat, there was, yeah, he had that flat spot in his head. So instead of going the helmet route right away, we did a therapy with where we exercised. He did, he was on his tummy. There was a certain way we had to wrap him when he slept. And so it was very much, we we were on the floor with him all the time, it felt like. And it was really neat to, go through that experience with them. And I think even now, 6 years old, we started that when he was, little. And now we're always on the floor. I find myself, it's just we play, whatever we do, we're on the floor. And I think it's stemming from that. But no, yeah, it's, like I said, we've always been open to different methods, like anything that's going to complement whatever it is we're going through. Then I think it's really worth it. So yeah, he's definitely familiar with therapy and learning to do his exercises, so he understands that part of it.
No, he's so great. And that's like, looking at it from because the tongue and the toes, everything's connected on the inside. But then, so on the outside, that's how his body was kind of responding to that tension. So it's so good to have that like early intervention and unwinding, doing those exercises on the outside. And then now we're looking at, okay, on the inside and the underlying tension and the breathing there. Now, besides like his, I guess his, so you'd say like his speech has been improving with his articulation. Anything else that you've noticed, or any other like aha moments or
uh,
anything, or even for yourself, anything you've noticed on yourself? I don't know.
yeah, I think when one thing that a myotherapy has, or myofunctional therapy has taught us, is how correctly can really impact how you feel. And so we do that together, where my husband and I are right there with him doing the exercises. Okay, this is how you breathe, make sure we're on our backs. Again, we're on the floor, doing the breathing exercises with him. So I think if anything, it's really uh, to slow it down, to realize when we're breathing, how we're breathing. And it's helped with me personally with my anxiety because I'm breathing properly. It's helped with sleep. And Ben also, he's a great sleeper. And I think, there was that, maybe that missing piece. He wasn't, breathing the way he should. And so with the way he's learning how, his tongue needs to be placed and how to breathe, that he's more relaxed and he can focus a lot better whenever he's doing a task. So yeah, I think that's been a great, extra surprise with not just, improving on his speech, but then just kind of that uh, the way we're living our lives now.
Kind of like being able to settle back down and the nervous system kind of result of it. Yes, yes, love
I think I do the breathing right before I have to get on camera with, at work even. I'm like, okay, here we go. How to
that.
practice. So it's been awesome. It really has.
That's all right. That's great. Can I share his progress photos that we had?
Please do.
Yeah, okay. And then so here's his. These were right in the beginning. He was able to barely click his tongue, so I could snap a quick photo from the computer, but he couldn't really hold it up. But
Right.
then he's holding it up there. I made the mistake of giving him a snack before I took this picture. That's my fault. I learned that, right? But all in all, like so much great better tongue function. Now, would you say so he was practicing he had his exercises to practice. Would you say it was manageable to practice those exercises and get them in?
It is because what you do is you just kind of you build that habit of incorporating into what you're doing every day. So, every day you have to brush your teeth. So that's that we can practice our exercises. So in the morning and the nighttime, he's getting that exercise. And it's just a quick, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of, okay, we're doing, so we're already incorporating into, he's there. If I'm, doing my washing my face, getting ready for the evening, he's right there with me. So it actually is, it's a fun time for us. He doesn't look at it as, oh man, I have to do exercises again. No, he really enjoys it because we're doing it together. And then same thing, if we're waiting for to drop him off in the morning, he's practicing, so we really have found ways to, we're not at home, it's wherever we're at, we can, hey, look, we have extra time here, let's do it real quick. And it's a kind of like a game for him, especially trying to keep his tongue off. So it's been good. Like I said, it really has given us that extra, okay, we're gonna spend time together, we're doing this is fun, this is gonna help us. And so he doesn't look at it as, oh man, I have to do this again, and he doesn't fight us on wanting to do it.
Exactly, like making it fun, that positive reinforcement. I love that. I love that so much. You guys are doing so great too, and thank you so much for sharing all of this. If anything else you'd want to share, or like if another parent is kind of on the fence, like, is this something that would be beneficial for my kids or my children or even myself? Anything else you'd want to share?
Well, you have that option that they just connect with you, right? And that was kind of my first, like, okay, this is I explained what was happening. Can we give it a try? And you were like, yeah, we can do this. So really, and anybody is looking at wanting to add this, like I said, it's a compliment to to whatever therapy it is. It's not a replacement. So, don't look at it as, oh, if I do this, I can't do this. No, I think it really is, it complements whatever type of therapy you're doing. And, I know we had actually talked about, maybe adding an OT to it. So again, it's just, what type of options we can give Benjamin to make sure he has everything he needs to be the best he can be, right? And so, yeah, if anybody's looking for, just talk with Miss Kelsey, because it's been amazing. And I don't, after a couple sessions, you're going to be like, oh my goodness. And then you'll relate to it and you're going to be like, okay, I understand this now, because it really is fascinating. So yeah, anybody looking out to just try it. Just try it. It's going to be amazing.
Exactly. What it doesn't hurt. It kind of gives you that function, that toolbox of everything to
Exactly.
go back on.
Yeah,
Well, thank
exactly.
you. Thank you so much. I'm so thankful that you were able to take some time out of your day. I won't take more of your time actually. So I'll see you guys shortly, okay? I know you gotta hop on and get back to work.